Hi, it's Bucori and welcome to my channel. Welcome to another What I Eat in a Week, where I show you how I meal prepped 2 meals and a snack that I made earlier this week. This week I had lasagna roll-ups. I had Moroccan-spiced lentils, I think it's what they're called. I got the recipe from Minimalistbaker. And then for my snack, I went real easy, simple, and basic, and just went with some cereal. So that's what I'm going to be snacking on today. This is just something that I picked up from Walmart, honestly. I wanted something simple. I didn't really want to have to prep anything this week because I didn't feel like it. Let's jump into the lentils first, and then we'll talk about the lasagna after. I had like one last serving of these lentils left, and I was like, let's just use it up and get rid of it. So I literally just Googled vegan lentil meals or dishes, and this one from Minimalistbaker popped up, and it seemed simple, it seemed flavorful, so I went ahead and recreated it. Yeah, I didn't know if the amount of lentils I had would last for the whole week, so I did add like half a pack of mushrooms as well that I chopped up very finely, and then the recipe calls already for peppers, onions, and garlic, so I went ahead and chopped that up. I made a bit of a mistake, so I put all of the ingredients, all of the mushrooms, peppers, and the onions all in a skillet, and I forgot that the onions and the peppers were supposed to go in the blender for the spice mixture, and then the mushrooms I wanted to add to the lentils to make them meatier. So I tried to keep them separate in the pan, but obviously there was a little bit of crossover between the two, but you know, we made it work. I added the garlic in after, as the mushrooms started to get crispy and caramelized, and then I separated the mushrooms out into the bowl with the lentils, and I added the onions and peppers and stuff to a blender with about a tablespoon of tomato paste. My camera cut out after I put the tomato paste in, so I didn't get myself pouring all of the seasonings into the blender, but I have them all laid out here: cayenne pepper, ginger, and coriander. We got paprika, apple cider vinegar, turmeric, salt and pepper, and then I added liquid smoke. I added liquid smoke because the recipe called for smoked paprika and I didn't have any, and I tasted it without the liquid smoke and it felt like it was missing something. So that and cumin were the other two things I added. Yeah, so my blender, because it's, you know, a blender and not like a food processor, it was still a little bit chunkier than the photo was on Minimalistbaker's recipe or website, but it still worked. It was like spicy, or not spicy, it was like sweet and savory at the same time with, like, I don't know, it was like really good. And I added that to the lentils. I added a handful of fresh parsley from my mom's garden, gave it a mix, and that was it. That's the recipe. It's really that simple. So I went ahead and popped that in the freezer because I made this 2 weeks ago actually, and I will show you what it looks like after I show you my lasagna sauce, which I also prepped a week in advance and just put in the freezer. So what you're looking at here is my base. I wanted it very like chunky and vegetable-y. So I had some mini peppers, some mushrooms, some onions, and some garlic. I just went ahead and chopped all of that up the way I prefer. So I like really small pieces, really small dices of everything. And then I also had a bag of spinach. So I started with that, and I added, if you saw last week's What I Eat in a Week, I had a can of fire roasted tomatoes, and I used 2/3 of it for my recipes last week. This is where the other third of it went. So I made all of this the week that I was making all of the food for last week's What I Eat in a Week, if that makes sense. Sorry if that's confusing, but it was that same day when I made my tacos and my chili and all of that stuff. So I just used that last third and put it on top of the spinach and let it start wilting a little bit. Again, my camera cut out. I just leave it rolling when I'm chopping everything up, so I need to think of like a better system because I obviously don't use the entire clip of me chopping each and every mushroom, each and every pepper. So it died. That's okay. I took a picture of me after I let the spinach wilt down a bit, and all I did was dump the rest of those veggies in, the mushrooms, the peppers, the onion, and the garlic. Let it saute, and then I added a can of marinara sauce, about a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of tomato paste, and I let it simmer, and that was it. I let it simmer for maybe like 15 minutes while I cleaned up my kitchen and got everything squared away. And then I put that in its Tupperware and popped it in the freezer with the lentils. Both recipes very simple. And after they defrosted, this was a week later, I pulled them out of the freezer like a day and a half before I filmed this. These lentils were very freezer friendly. Like there was no like ice or water, you know, like making them super watery or anything like that. When I pulled them out, they defrosted just fine. So if you're looking for a freezer friendly meal, this is a good one. So all I did for this like protein bowl was boil some quinoa. I boiled it in water, but in hindsight, I would have boiled it in, what's it called, veggie stock, because it would have just given it a little bit more flavor. Yeah, it's just some boiled quinoa with some salt and pepper on it, and then that is, a handful of edamame that was already shelled. I got it from the freezer section in Walmart for like $2. So I just added a handful of that, and that was it. Honestly, this wasn't the most exciting meal to eat this week. I was very specifically looking for something that was like lighter. I just like went hard last week for my birthday, and like, oh man, like chili dogs and beer, and oh gosh, I just like Burger King. I got an Impossible Whopper. So I ate just a bunch of stuff last week, and this week I wanted something that was very intentionally light and nourishing. So I went with this. I could have added a little bit more flavor though. Like it was light and nourishing, but could have had a little bit more flavor. I ate it every day. It did its job. Let's move on. This has little strawberry chunks in it. So this is the tomato sauce after it came out of the freezer. Because I added that tomato paste, it also wasn't very liquidy on top. The middle was still frozen, so that's just like a pile of frozen spinach that pulled up. But overall, it was another freezer friendly dish. So to make the vegan ricotta for my lasagna roll-ups, I started with a block of tofu. I actually just did half a block of tofu and crumbled it into my bowl. I thought I had more hummus than I did. It looks like it's a lot more than it is. So I just started with half a block. I did end up needing to make more, so I went to the store later in the week to get more hummus, but it looked like it was enough, but I needed like half a cup, and this was maybe like a fourth of a cup, so it just wasn't as much as I needed. And I won't have the recipe linked below for this ricotta. I just add some Italian seasonings, some nutritional yeast, salt and pepper, and garlic powder, and that was it. You mash it around, and this is what you get. So I had boiled my lasagna noodles earlier in the day. They'd cooled off. I put some olive oil on top of them as well. You can definitely use a cutting board for this portion, or like something other than the lid to a Tupperware. But, you know, I didn't. I just put my noodle down and spread my filling on the noodle, the entire length of it, and then I rolled it up. Ain't it cute? But yeah, to cook these, I popped them in the oven on 375. I put sauce in the bottom of my little casserole dish. I put 3 roll-ups in, and then put more sauce on top and let it bake. It looked really watery to me in the bottom, and I was worried, but when I pulled all of the noodles out, it wasn't watery at all. It was just kind of like all of the filling down there, but it wasn't watery. And this is what I ended up with, y'all. This was so delicious. Oh my god, this was so good. 3 looks like a lot, and it was. But I also ate 3 every day for the rest of the week. Okay, it was so good. It was so good. Yeah, it was fire. We can run that back, actually. Let's just run it back and just look at it again. Just look at it. Wow. Wow. Yeah. The lentils were not nasty. The lentils were the best part of that bowl, actually, so I shouldn't talk about the lentils. It was the quinoa and the edamame. It was just kind of boring. So the lasagna made up for that. And yeah, just like I said, I had just regular cereal. I poured it into a bowl. I think on Monday, that was the only day I ate it like with almond milk. But every other day I just ate it out of the bag. So that's all I have for you this week. 2 easy and very freezer friendly dishes and a no prepped, no cooked snack. So definitely my type of week. Let me know if you've tried any of the recipes from the past What I Eat in a Week. So I'm really interested to see if you tried them, if you liked them, if you've tweaked them. So as always, thank you for watching. Please be sure to share and give this a big thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.